So imagine this. You're already way behind financially. The only thing that you can do is save money, work hard, and spend as little as possible. All of a sudden, boom, Grandma Sue breaks a hip. Being as you're the only person in the area that's even closely related to her, you know that you're going to have to take time off of work, take her to the hospital, take care of her pets, things such as that. You know that these 2 days are going to impact your cash flow, and it's going to leave you well short of the rent payment that you have due on Monday. You rack your brain for possible solutions, trying to think of anything that could help you in your time of need. All of a sudden, boom, bright light shines down on your cloudy situation. You know that there's a payday lender right down the road that can provide you with a short-term loan that would help you in your time of need. Your wife vehemently disagrees, saying that they're nothing but a bunch of crooks and it's all a big scam. Editorials like the one in the New York Times cater to this notion that borrowing money from a payday lender is a terrible idea. This negatively opinionated article and others like it lead the public to distrust and disregard payday lending as a legitimate source of money in a time of need. Through analyzing facts and articles available to the public, I would like to refute the claim from the New York Times that says that this whole payday lending process is nothing more than a predatory business whose sole purpose is to take fees and mislead the public into paying way more money than they should for a loan. In my analyzation of the New York Times article, I came to certain conclusions that show that the editor's judgment is skewed and that they didn't use enough information and analysis to justify their claims. For example, they did not look at the entire payday lending industry as a whole. They used facts and examples that weren't entirely accurate, and they failed to mention the safeguards that are put into place in each of the loan outlets that are available to view that they say are so misleading. One of the first opinions that comes from the article that I would like to refute is their basic approach to looking into one case instead of the industry as a whole. It's a proven fact that there are over 300 different payday lending outlets. According to Victor Stango in an article he wrote entitled Some New Evidence and Competition in the Payday Lending Industry, this amounts to about 24,000 different payday lending outlets, as opposed to credit unions or banks that only have roughly 16,000 different outlets. In the second paragraph, the New York Times editorial entitled Payday Lenders Set the Debt Trap, they use the example of Ace Cash Express. It's one company that was forced to pay back $10 million to a whole bunch of people for malpractice. As said before, this probably isn't representative of the industry on a whole, since there's so many different ones. But they use words like onerous fees and trapping people as a generality to show that all these companies are like that. It just isn't. For my next refutation, I would like to look into the false belief that the fees and penalties associated with the payday lending process are impractical and unnecessary. In paragraph 5 of the New York Times editorial, they use statistics and facts that are conducive to showing that there's a possible repayment factor in these loans. In reality, most fees and penalties associated with this process, and even the interest rate, is lower than a credit card. Another point in the article that relates back to this is that these places have extremely high operating costs, seeing as how they stay open way later than banking hours to help people in their time of need. Fees that are implemented are just there to offset the cost of these later hours to pay employees, electricity, things like that to keep the place open. And they're definitely necessary to get these people the loans that they need. The payday industry is admittedly costly, but the disclaimer of the fees and refinance charges are posted clearly throughout the premises. The biggest question one must ask oneself is whether or not the benefits of getting this type of loan are worth the cost that you bring onto yourself. The New York Times uses words like exploitive and financial ruin to give the whole industry a shady connotation. Although the article blasts Ace, there should be no misunderstanding to lead anyone to financial ruin. There are an almost endless number of reasons why somebody might get a payday loan. According to J.P. Caskey, in an article written for the Journal of Financial Counseling and Planning, people that do not have credit or credit cards might use this loan in a similar fashion. Others might be too embarrassed to ask family or friends for fear of ridicule or embarrassment. With all these reasons for good that are put forth by these authors to promote this industry, why would an editorial staff continue to say that it's so bad and evil? Who knows? In conclusion, the facts of this issue are clear. The New York Times staff uses opinionated words and statements, backed by statistics and examples, that lead the reader to a false knowledge of a narrow study. When one looks at the process, you can see the great benefits and options that are available. For people in need, this provides much needed money for them in their worst times. Thank you.